Jesus and the scribes, the religious leaders of the day, they got into it a lot. The scribes would try to trip Jesus up. Jesus would counter the scribes. It was as though they almost enjoyed this sort of intellectual sparring of conversation, this debate that they would have throughout our scriptures. But in today's story, it's the one where there really is not any tension between them. There's not a big debate. There's no trying to trick each other. The scribes simply ask Jesus, which is the greatest commandment of all? Now, Jesus, being a good Jew, he would know that there were 613 commandments in his scriptures. And either he would have counted them or one of the rabbis would have counted them. So when he had to pick which one of those 613 was the most important, he quickly had an answer. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. This first part that Jesus answers is part of the Shema, the verse that observant Jews start each day with. And Jesus continues without even a breath. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. And Jesus adds into the mix, to all your mind. So he takes the familiar passage that they would have known from Leviticus and adds in the mind, as though to say to those scribes, we're having some fun here with our intellectual debates. But with nary a breath in between those first two, Jesus continues, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. The scribes asked for one commandment, and Jesus neatly gives them 3 pieces. But before the scribes could sort of counter back, that was 3, Jesus. Jesus says, there is no other commandment greater than these. Jesus refers to all 3 of these as one commandment, greater than these being you got to do all 3 of them. So he has 1 in 3 there, saying that they cannot be separated. You cannot do one without the others. Jesus implored the scribes, his disciples who were listening, anyone else who had gathered nearby who was listening, and us to love. Not that romantic, Valentine's-y kind of love, but the hard work of love. And what does it mean to love? Who do we give love to? Who do we receive love from? I want you to take a few minutes and take your hymn insert that was in there and turn it over. And there's some pictures there. Now, you can quietly reflect in your mind. You can write if you are a verbal kind of a person. You can draw if you want to draw. But we're going to put on some quiet reflection music. And as we head into this coming week, I invite you to consider how you might live into Jesus' command to love in all its forms. In a little bit, you'll hear the start of our hymn, and so that will be the end of your time. us sing together verse 2 of hymn number 403. Friends, love is an action word. It requires something of us. Who needs love? Which individuals? Which situations? Which countries? I invite us into this next time of prayer to think about who needs our love. And I invite you to actually make your way, if you are able, either physically or in spirit, to one of these boards to write in the heart where you might show love, or where you are praying God's love to be at work. Because our world is in desperate need of love, of God's love. So let us enter into this time of prayer and response. Will you join me in prayer? God of wholeness, we offer every prayer on our hearts to you. From the pieces, may there be peace. Amen.